Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. My name is Dabney and I'm an evolutionary astrologer. What we do on this channel is we look at the planetary energies and how the cosmos is changing and shifting and what that means for us down here on planet Earth. This is a little bit more of an intimate video. It's going to be short, but I was speaking with a couple other astrologers, intuitives, people that you know probably from seeing them on my channel, Susan Lynn and Celeste Brooks. And we were talking about how the energy is sort of off the charts. So if you're a caring and kind and feeling person, this is not the easiest time in history. There's a lot going on, and my heart is just broken for everybody in the LA area who's losing their homes right now. And just the sheer devastation of what's going on there is so powerful. And I was going to initially do a video on the astrology of it, but it just didn't feel in good integrity. So the first thing I just want to say is I'm so sorry for everyone is going through what they're going through right now. And you're definitely on so many of our minds and in our prayers. So I don't know about you all, but there is kind of a feeling for those of us in the more empathic, sensitive direction that things aren't going the way we had hoped. And it is just so sad to watch. You know, I watched the sort of hatred coming out of people and the politicizing of this natural disaster and tragedy. And I just think about, you know, not that long ago when there was a natural disaster, we all rallied to help one another. Just didn't matter what your politics were. And so I've made the mistake of kind of looking at the news and some of the comments that people are making and just the blaming when there's plenty of blame to go around for all of our leaders. You know, that's the truth. So let's talk about a little bit about the astrology of this time. The astrology of this time, right now in the sky, this is the 9th of, I was trying to remember the date, the 9th of January. And in a couple days, we're going to have this big switchover of the nodes. We're going to go from Libra, South Node, Aries, North Node, into Pisces, North Node, Virgo, South Node. And I just did a whole video about that with another astrologer that's going to come out on Saturday. The astrologer's name is Irliana Samsara. And she afterwards, after we got off of the video, she told this anecdote from another astrologer named Coppock. So lots of astrologers, we talk and we revere one another's work. And she was mentioning that he had an anecdote that once she said it, it just gave me chills. It was like, oh, wow, that's really a lot of what's happening. That there's these stars, and when a star's in the sky and it's about to implode, it actually gets bigger and louder. It like doubles in size. Like it's kind of this, just sort of like a magnification of the energy before it implodes and, you know, in on itself. And I do think there's a lot of that going on. And we've talked about the fact that there's a lot of endings in the sky right now. And so right now, here we are. We're about to have another ending. We're going into the new nodes. But simultaneously with that, Uranus, which is the planet of lightning strikes and change, is in the sign of Taurus. And it's been there since 2018. And this is something that we've talked about, or actually we haven't talked about because I didn't have my channel back then, but a lot of astrologers have talked about, it's definitely been on my radar, that had a lot to do with climate change and kind of coming to terms with that. The last time Uranus was in Taurus was also the Dust Bowl. So a lot of like really kind of having to see what we've done to the land. Taurus is the land and the earth. And really kind of there's consequences and repercussions for climate change. And so here we are kind of in the final degrees in a lot of ways. Uranus will be moving into Gemini this summer for the first time in our lifetimes. And also, or for most people's lifetime, some people are going to be having a Uranus return. I should talk about, I should acknowledge that Uranus takes 84 years. So it's the first time in my lifetime, I should say. But Uranus brings in with it, Uranus in Gemini brings in new ideas, fresh ideas. And that was when Uranus went into Gemini, is honestly, it was when we went to World War II, but it was also when we kind of were able to get new technologies in that addressed some of the things that were taking place as a result of the Dust Bowl. So I do think that with Uranus in Gemini, there will be some climate change inventions, new ideas, things that will kind of help address what we are dealing with now. But in the sky today, Uranus is conjunct the moon in Taurus. And so again, if the moon plays powerfully in your chart, which it does very much so in mine, it's, I have 4 planets in Cancer. So the moon is a big deal in my chart. And I'm sure it is for a lot of you that are feeling intuitive people. The moon is sitting next to that. And it's kind of challenging us to feel the pain and the suffering brought on by this climate change, that the earth is crying and people are celebrating. Just strange. It's very strange to me that people are emboldened to criticize and hurt others during such a challenging time. And I would say anybody that, does the same thing when there's a hurricane or floods in a red state, it's the same thing. It's not okay. So, and I don't think that that's typically my audience, but anybody else seeing this, it's just kind of like, it's about human suffering. And it's about the sadness of when someone loses their home and everything that they've worked towards. And I do believe that there's blame to go all around. So what do you do with that energy? What do we do when we're feeling so raw and sensitive, and when we're feeling the sadness of the earth and pain? Mars is retrograde in Cancer, and Mars is our feelings, or Cancer's our feelings, and Mars is unhappy in Cancer. It doesn't know what to do with it in a lot of ways, because Mars wants to just take action. Mars wants to move forward, and Cancer is the home. So here we have this kind of feeling sensitive energy, and it doesn't know how to process it. And it's Mars retrograde in Cancer. Very close, to an opposition in Pluto, like dramatic energy in the sky that, again, just really is challenging for those of us with who are more sensitive. Dreams right now, off the charts. I don't know if you've been having powerful dreams, but I have. Neptune is conjunct the Neptune at the last degree of Pisces, like the end degrees of Pisces, is conjunct the 1 degree Aries North Node. Okay, and we're about to get to a 0 degree of Aries North Node on Saturday, which is going to be this whole, which is called the Draconic chart. And, I talk a little bit about it more in the video that I'm doing with Irliana that's coming out on Saturday. So I won't go into that. But the point is, there's kind of there's a changeover happening. And we're just at the end of so much. And so, as I want to do, I picked a card from this deck that I love. It's the Colette Baron Reed Spirit Animal Oracle card. And my beautiful kitty Fiji back here in the background, he looks a little bit like a seal, beach seal right now. But he had come up and snuggled next to me prior to this video when I had picked the card. And I got Buffalo Spirit. The abundant universe will provide. And it almost brought me to tears. And the meaning of the card is really about gratitude and finding gratitude in the face of unending challenges. And so it really did remind me of all of the struggles that people have been through throughout the course of history. And you think about the native peoples who were living their lives and, were annihilated through disease and war and conquest. And so I was also reminded of a book that I read that I'm going to put in the comments section, but it's I think it's called When Broken Glass Floats. And it's about Cambodia and under the Khmer Rouge. And I had the opportunity to go to Cambodia a few years ago, and a good friend of mine recommended the book, and I was reading it while I was there. And talk about bringing home, we think about Hitler and Nazism, and we think about those atrocities. There's been so many movies and stuff, but what is it really like when there's a madman in charge? What is the suffering, the human toll? What is that actually like? What is it like to starve to death? And that's nowhere near what us as entitled Westerners are feeling right now. And I'm just bringing this up because feeling that collective sadness, feeling the sadness of mothers and their children. There's such a hyper masculine energy in the air right now, and an empowerment. And I think that Mars retrograde has something to do. Mars retrograde in Cancer has something to do with this hyper masculine energy. And we're going to be coming into a lot of hyper masculine energy with Aries and Neptune in Aries, and we're going to have Saturn in Aries. And so, things are going to shift over. But I have to say right now with, the yin energy, things aren't necessarily crushing it. So I want to give hope and not be depressing. And so I just wanted to, kind of come back to this Buffalo Spirit, the abundant universe will provide card, which is there are tough times in life. And this might be one of them for people, someone who's watching. Hang in there. One, you're not alone. And two, we have to look at the fact that we're all a part of one another. And masculine energy doesn't always know what to do with Cancer. The great mother, the nurturer, the empath. Cancer men struggle. Because especially in our society, or in Western society, or in many societies, it's shameful to be a woman. It's shameful to have feminine qualities. Well, if you're Cancer, you're incredibly sensitive and you're incredibly feeling. And men don't always know what to do with that energy. And so Cancer and Mars in Cancer, there is a little bit of a suffering with how do I live in a world that doesn't respect nurturing, kindness, open-hearted, caring, unconditional, sensitivity. Really, there is it's unconditional love, but it's a different kind of unconditional love than Pisces. It's the love of a mother and a child. That's the archetype. Men aren't taught that that's their role. They're supposed to be strong and protect and provide. So I think this is something we're going to have to deal with in the coming years, coming months. And I think it's up right now. And it's interesting because I have done a couple videos that have included this information, and then I'm seeing other people talking really about it. So it's on the minds of a lot of people. So I guess I just wanted to hop on and say, if you're feeling raw or shaken or, unsteady, it's okay. You're not alone. There are a lot of us out there feeling that way. Turn to your animals. My little Fiji here, like I said, he looks like a beach seal in the background, but he's just the cutest, sweetest cat. So he brings us so much joy. So turn to the things that bring you joy. Have gratitude. Find gratitude in the face of challenges. We'll get through this. And we're being taught lessons. We're being shown things. We're in a changeover. And, think about what it was like before there was electricity. People sat outside and looked at the stars. People went to bed really early in the winter. It's different now. We have electricity. Changed everything. We don't sit and look at the stars the way that we used to. We don't know what's on the horizon. I can't predict the future. As an astrologer, I can predict energy. I can predict, kind of how I think things will go based on the archetypes of the planetary energy in the sky, but I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. I don't think our imaginations can fully grasp what's coming. And so we're seeing a lot of endings. And I don't know about you, but when I was little, I wanted to move to LA and be a movie star. And, I thought that, Malibu Barbie was like the coolest thing in the world. Malibu's on fire. There's a lot of changes taking place. So, let's just all breathe. Let's reach out to one another, tell people that you love them, and find gratitude right now. Lean into gratitude as hard as it is, because I think it's the only thing that's going to get us through potentially a challenging time for those of us that are on the sensitive side. So the universe is conspiring to help us, even when it feels challenging. Pay attention to your dreams. And know there's a reason and a season for it all. We'll get through this. And till next time, stargazers.